I've been meaning to make a video on this for a little while now, and kind of wanted to ensure that I wasn't talking out of my ass on this one. So, for the record, before we go any further, definitely free Palestine, pro-Palestinian, freedom, plain and simple. This entire thing has been a very, very clear representation of settler colonialism. And to pretend that it's not solely because it's Israel doesn't make any sense. Also, to pretend that somehow this is equal responses to one another between both Israel and Palestine also doesn't make sense. Israel is a relatively large military power. They have advanced weaponry. They have advanced technological capabilities. And they literally control something as basic as day-to-day movement of Palestinians. So to somehow equate this to, say, 9/11, as many have stated and sensationalized in the news over the past weeks since this conflict began, is very disingenuous, very much so, and plays down the situation that's been going on, humanitarian situation, by the way, that's been going on in Palestine for decades upon decades at this point. Mainstream journalists have not been honest as far as the situation has been concerned. When the bombing of the hospital happened, initially Israel claimed that because they kind of fucking did it. And then turned around once they received the backlash and stated that it was more than likely a Hamas rocket, and that is the story that the mainstream media of the West went with. That it was more than likely a Hamas rocket that targeted the Palestinian hospital, as well as changing the story and the narrative around to make it seem as if Israel's the good guys for bombing hospitals by stating, oh, we gave them time to evacuate. You can't evacuate when you have nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. Roughly 98% of Gaza, for example, is fenced in. Where exactly are Palestinians supposed to go? When they were told to go to the south of Gaza, they tried to do that and were bombed. Children. Mind you, the average age, if I'm not mistaken, is 25 when it comes to Palestinians. 25 years old. To understand that fact and put it into context and put the images on the internet or put the images in front of Westerners, I believe would be the best course of action. That way, the ridiculous rhetoric that's been going online, stating that they deserve this for the massacre that they did to Israel, would be in the best interest of Westerners. Understand the simple fact that when I say I stand with Palestine, and when I say that we should free Palestine and Palestine needs to be freed and liberated from Israel, I mean that as in Israelis that are complicit in this genocide, Israelis that are supportive of this genocide, should be tried and prosecuted and sentenced with the whole fucking book. Throw that bitch at them. All that really needs to be said is that from a Western point of view, especially from an American standpoint, maybe we don't do the same bullshit tribalism that happens when it comes to red versus blue in our fucking jacked up ass Congress. When it comes to something as fucked up and complex as the situation in Israel. It's not a one-to-one. It's not easily comparable. Biggest takeaway I hope anybody with some semblance of a fucking brain takes away from this video if the retaliation involves leveling entire towns and cities full of children and moms and babies, and the people being bombed have their internet cut off by the people bombing them, the people being bombed have their water, electricity, food, aid cut off by the people bombing them because of the actions of a small terrorist cell, in comparison to the 2 million plus Palestinians that are currently being shelled daily, hourly. Maybe that large democratic power is the fucking bad guys. Just throwing that out there.